the market is still in a very bullish trend here. We are very close here to triggering a sell signal. So again, with the markets being down at the open this morning, if we do have a negative day, we will likely actually cross into a MACD sell signal. Let's talk about what you need to know before the bell this morning. Markets did, end down just a little bit on Friday, closed on Monday. Still holding well above. Now, again, we came down last week after that CPI report. We came down, hit right on the 20-day moving average. So just a good intraday correction. Market rallied back to previous all-time highs and then kind of stuck there on Friday. So again, we had a negative week overall, but just barely. But outside of that, the market is still in a very bullish trend here. We are very close here to triggering a sell signal. So again, with the markets being down at the open this morning, if we do have a negative day, we will likely actually cross into a MACD sell signal. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to have a big major correction. We've seen these kind of elevated sell signals before, and we can just kind of chop around up here for a bit. Now, eventually, we're going to get a bigger sell-off in the markets. Now, is that starting today? Who knows? But we're eventually going to get a bigger sell-off in the markets, kind of like we saw last summer where we get that 5 to 10% correction. We're getting set up for that. Again, if we go back to June, July last year, we had a very similar pattern, not as long, but we maintained this very elevated level of the MACD, which allowed the markets to continue to kind of grind higher, and eventually they gave up the ghost during the summer. But here we've had a very long stretch here with this market, very elevated MACD signal, markets maintaining very overbought levels. So again, at some point we'll create this sell signal that actually leads to a broader sell-off in the markets, and we do get a bigger correction, which will be a decent buying opportunity. Again, we've talked about this for a while, is that use these very elevated levels in the market. This has been a very, very long advance. And eventually this is going to have some correction. This deviation between the moving averages and the markets are going to resolve themselves at some point. So take a few profits here, reduce your speculative risk. Interesting chart out this morning, retail investors piling into call options. That's very typical at a very late stage advance. So again, they generally pile into options at exactly the wrong time. So don't do that. Manage your risk here a bit, reduce your speculative activity, wait for a correction, and again, we're going to have one. It's just a function of time till we get there. We'll have a 5 to 10% correction sometime this year, and that'll be a better opportunity to put the capital to work, be a little bit more speculative. Now, that doesn't mean get out of the market entirely here. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, rebalance your risk, reduce your speculative activity, be a little bit more defensive, and then wait for an opportunity to get more speculative again later this year. So again, that's just what you need to know before the bell this morning.